All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Skill Up Show. We were live a few minutes ago, but we realized that our Facebook audience was unable to join us on the stream, and so we had to start all over again. We are sorry about that. So if you're seeing us or this is coming late, and that's because we had to go back and start all over again because of our Facebook audience. Welcome to the Skill Up Show. Today, we are going to be looking at something very interesting. We're looking at personal growth. Why our young children and preteens need to develop self awareness early. Why do we? Why am I always about this? Okay, if you've been following me, you know me, then you know that I am always about young children and preteens knowing the things that they need to know as early as possible. Because I believe that when we get to the party early, then we get the best part of the party. I said at the beginning, or when I started earlier on, Aristotle said that knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. When you know yourself, when you know who you are, what you're about, what you love, what you enjoy, and what your capacity is. When you know your strength and you know your weaknesses, then you become wise, because then this knowledge helps you to navigate your life and to navigate the world. All right. And this is what I believe strongly, that our children need to be pointed to as early as possible, knowing who they are, understanding who they are, and making the best of who they are. We're going to take just a few seconds now to do some housekeeping, because we just started this new stream and I don't think we've been able to share the link so that other people can join us. So if you are here with me already, you can see me, you can hear me. Why don't you go ahead and let us know this in the comment section, that you can see me and you can hear me? If there's someone you know that needs to be here right now, this is the time. Why don't you go ahead and invite them to join us and be a part of the show today. All right. And if you are on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscription button, and remember to use the bell so that you get notified every time we are live. And if you are on Facebook, you have a friend I know who needs to be here. You have a loved one who has to be here. You have a family member who has to be here. Go ahead and invite them so that they can be a part of the conversation, all right, this afternoon. All right, my name is Maribeth Chima, if I have not said that already, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And yes, the very proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteens, because we want to raise children who are self-aware. We want to raise children who already know who they are, children who already identify with their strength, children who already know what values they stand for, what it is they stand for. You know how we say, if you do not know what you stand for, you will fall for anything. And so we are raising strong and powerful children who already know who they are and what they stand for as early as possible. And that's way they don't fall for just anything, because we believe in that saying by Aristotle, that when you know yourself, then you become wise. The beginning of wisdom is knowing who you are. If you are with me, please don't just be in the background. Say something in the comment section so that I know that I've got company, okay? And then if you are here and you are ready, then we are set to roll on the Skillup Show. That show where we come and we talk about parenting issues as they affect parents of young people and preteens, because we know that at a time like this, you cannot parent alone. Your room, your bedroom, your house, no matter how big it is, your compound, And your voice alone is not strong enough to raise a global citizen. You need collaborators, you need partners, you need people who speak your kind of language so that your children know that it's not just my mom that is different, it's not my father that likes pushing people to overdo. It's because there are so many of us out there who are on the right path. So many of us are out there who have the right kind of values, similar values. So many of us out there who are doing the right thing. And so the voice of the few who are shouting and screaming all the wrong things do not consume your children, because your children think it is only you in your house that is trying so hard to make them different. This is why we are here, to be that partner, to be those collaborators that collaborate with you and work with your children so that your children can hear the same things that you are saying, or similar things that you are saying, same values that you are parading in your home. They can see it being upheld by many other children like them. And so believability, the ability to believe, and of course the ability to, trust, okay, in all that you're teaching them becomes stronger. All right. So today, let's look at how we can help our children identify or become aware of themselves, who they are, what they are, and all of that, so that they can use this to build a solid foundation. All right. I said that the ability to understand yourself, right? When you're able to understand yourself, okay, it helps you create goals and it helps you create visions and aspirations that are personal, because now you know yourself and you understand who you are. So you are not just following the crowd, you are not just doing what every other person is doing. You understand who you are, you understand your strength, your weaknesses, you understand your need, and so you are able to tailor whatever it is that you are doing to fit your dynamics. All right, that's what happens to people who know who they are, people who understand who they are. And this is what we want to create even in our children as young as they are, so that from the word go, from the beginning, they know who they are, they understand who they are, and they can run with this. Please just give me a second. All right, sorry about that. Needed to do a bit of housekeep there. All right, then. So when we know all of this, when our children are put in that space, then they are able to throttle because now they know who they are. If you remember, have you watched the movie Lion King, right? Can you remember in Lion King after was that Mufasa? That's the name of the father, right? After Mufasa died and Simba, his son, had to run away because because he was in danger, right? So what happened after that, right? He forgot who he was. Now he met Timon and what's the other one's name? Tumba or whatever. Kumba or Tumba. All right. So he met them, and what? He started living the Akuna Matata life, and all of that with these other two creatures, whatever they are, a pig and whatever the other one was, or something like that. Okay, my daughter is trying to give me specifics. Okay, but what is important is he found this new set of friends or family, and so he forgot who he was, right? Because this became what he knew. These people became the lifestyle with these people, who these people were, and all of that became all that he knew right from when he was a young boy or a cub, isn't it? And so he grew up like that, thinking that this was all that he was, all right? That what he had with them, or what it was that he was doing with them, or what he could do with them was all that he was capable of. He didn't know that there was a king inside of him. He didn't know that there was the amount of strength and the power that was inside of him, because this friends or this family, this association, these associates, were not anything like who he really was. All right. It was until he met who was that? Rafiki. Is that his name? It's a long time I watched The Lion King, and so I may be, missing their names or not saying it well. So, but when he met Rafiki, what did he do? He called him, he told him that, oh, you're a baboon. He called him a couple of other names and all of that. Like, you are not a lion, you are not a king, you are this, you are that. I mean, because if you do not know who you are, you would accept who you are not. If you do not know who you are, you would take the name that anybody gives you or the name that anybody calls you. So this is why it is very important that right from home, right from the beginning, we teach and we point our children to know, to identify, to believe, and to own who they are. The moment they become aware of who they truly are, the moment they understand who they truly are, then they are ready to throttle based on the capacity that they now know that they have, because they embody this and they can connect with it. So if our children do not become self-aware as early as possible, they will become baboons. They will become the people around them. They will become what they see. They will become what the pop culture says. They will become what all kinds of cultures and all kinds of narratives around them says, until we make them know who they are, until we point them to who they are, until they identify who they are and begin to live in that life and begin to live, embody who they truly are. This is the same reason why Jesus had to ask his disciples, right? He had to ask Peter, who do the people say that I am? And then Peter came with all of these answers. Is this? And they said you are this, you are. And then he turned and he asked him, because he wanted to be sure that they knew who it was that they were hanging around. He wanted to be sure that they knew who it was that they were associating with, right? You cannot be a lion and you are running around with pigs. You cannot be an eagle and you are running around with chickens. So he needed to know that they knew that they were eagles, that they knew the person that it was that they were hanging out with, because he knew who he was. He needed to be sure that they know who it was that they were hanging out with. So if our children do not know who they are, they will hang around even as eagles. They will hang around with chickens and they will take the personalities of chickens, right? Until they know who they are. So the question is your child on a path to becoming self-aware? Is that a goal for you? Are you one of those parents that your problem, your concern is whether people think that you are a good parent or you are a bad parent? Every time I have conversations with people and people say things like, oh, they say I'm a good parent, or they say I'm a bad parent. Oh, he thinks I'm a bad parent. This one said, I laugh because come on now, this is 2024. Are you still on the table where you are sharing gifts for who is a good parent and a bad parent? No, this is not the time for good and bad parents. This is the time for what kind of parent are you? Are you a visionary parent? Do you have a vision? Do you have a goal? Are you focused on something? Are you going somewhere? Where is the vision? Have you written it down? Are you running with it? Okay. These are the kind of parents that we are looking for. These are the kind of parents that our children need today. Parents who are visionary, parents who understand the assignment and know that one of the assignments is not about whether your child greets everybody in the yard, whether your child is bending their neck everywhere they go to. It is much more than that. It is the vision that you have for them, and it is in how you are leading them to achieve that vision. So, dear parents, is it one of your goals, or is it part of your vision to help your child understand and become aware of who they are, so that they do not become who they are not. This is what the conversation is about, and this is what we are talking about today. All right, so we are talking about how we can help children build the foundation for personal growth, and why it is important that our young children and our preteens become self-aware, why it is important that they develop self-awareness as early as possible. Okay, so I work with children between ages 6, okay, 5 and 8 months actually, and 14. Okay, so we work with the children in the mastermind circle. It's a peer mentorship and accountability group. All right, and what I'm talking about here today are some of our primary goals at the mastermind circle: to raise children who are aware of who they are, children who know what their roles are in their own lives. Like in your life, you know the role that you're supposed to play in your life. In your life, you understand who you are, and you are running your race. You are making you're making progress. You are going on your journey based on who you now know that you are. And so at every point, you are not concerned about what your friends are doing, what your classmates are doing, what other people are doing. You are focused on what it is that is your path and is your lane, and you are growing every day. We are about to come to the close of the last cohort in the mastermind circle. And I was speaking to the parents the other day, and I said to them, these children have been around here for a whole year. I'm looking at each of them. I'm looking because I know them. Okay. I'm looking at each of them, and I can see clearly that they have all made progress in one way or the other. Now, their progress are not the same because each of them is different. Their milestones are not the same. Their progress is not the same, even for some of them who are about the same age. But one thing is sure, that these children have moved from point A to point B based on their personal dynamics, based on what is available to them, based on who they are, based on the support that they've received, based on their dynamics generally. All right, so that is the point. The point is having these children understand who they are, and then know this, embrace who they are, and they begin to throttle based on who they now know that they are. But if we don't help them know who they are, we don't help them understand their own role in their lives, we don't make them understand that they have an assignment of their own to carry, we will raise entitled children who will continue to think that it is all about us. So when they don't want to do something, they don't know that the result of it, or the consequence or repercussion of it, will fall on them and not on us. Many of us raise children that at 10 do not recognize this, at 12 do not recognize this. Some of us even have teenagers who do not know that where they are right now is a part of the rest of their lives. We have teenagers. Good morning, Onyinye. How are you doing? Yes, where they are, teenagers who do not even understand that as it is that you are right now, every choice, every decision, every action is a part of what your future and the rest of you is going to be, because we are not raising them to be self-aware and to understand the role that they play in their own lives. Okay, and that's what we're talking about today. So let's look at a few things, right, that's helping children recognize these will do for them. Number one, it will help our children improve in the kind of decisions that they make. When your child from age 6, right? When your child from age 6 already identifies, a few things about themselves. For example, they know what it is that they enjoy doing. They know what it is that they are good at. They know what it is that is their strength. They know what it is that is their weaknesses. They know that they are not reduced by the things that they don't know how to do right now. And then they know that there is a way to become better at those things. Now, these are the things that we do, or this is how we support them in the mastermind to become aware of all of these things that we are talking about. Now, when your 6-year old, your 7-year old already knows and identifies these things, you know what happens? They begin to throttle on a journey towards becoming better in the areas that they are not great, towards honing the skills and the areas that come easy for them. So, what it does when you point your children to these things early is you point them to seeing and knowing these things about themselves and becoming intentional about it. Yes, that's what it is. So, when the children come to us at age 6 and age 7, all right, sometimes just by interacting with them, sometimes through the tasks and the tools that we give them to do, we are able to point them and see some of the strength that they have that not them or their parents had even identified before. And so we begin to fan those strengths. We begin to throw more light on those strengths. We begin to encourage and we begin to applaud those strengths in the children. Now, the more children get a sense of satisfaction from something that they do by way of your acknowledgement, by way of your encouragement, by way of your guidance, by way of your practice, and consistently pointing them to those things, they begin to get a sense of satisfaction from the achievements that they make in that area. And this is it. Motivation kicks in automatically. And the moment a human being is motivated, the moment a human being is self-motivated, that's how passion grows. Self-motivation simply means that you don't need anybody to tell you to do this thing. You don't need anybody to remind you to pursue a thing, because on your own, you can drive yourself to do it. On your own, you like it, you enjoy it, you know it, and you want to do it on your own. So you don't need people chasing you around to do it, because it comes from inside. It is intrinsically motivated. And so because we have been able to stay there with you on that skill or on that thing that you love, we have pointed you to it. We have made you understand it more. We have made you see that you are great at it. We are encouraging. We are pointing you, because of that, you can now push yourself to do it. You can now push yourself to be a part of it. And so it is internalized. It becomes a habit and it becomes a part of the person. This is how great people, innovators, inventors, creatives, entrepreneurs, people who have gone ahead to change the world, this is how they got there, through doing the things that they love to do, doing the things that come easily to them, doing the things that give them a sense of satisfaction, and with the support around them from their parents, from their loved ones, from their coaches, from their mentors, the things and the people around them, all of that has led to all of these great people that we hear of today. That is how they owned and they became. Now, this is what you want to do as early as possible for your young children and your preteens, helping them to see and identify these things as early as possible, and then doing all of the fanning so that they start early. By the time they are in their teenage years, they are already comfortable in these activities. They're already comfortable with this part of them. They're already comfortable with this habit, and they are throttling, as in it is now free flow, because mastery would have happened with the years of consistency and practice and self-motivation that has been driven into it. Now, what we do a lot of the times is, because we don't pay attention to this group of children. Oh, the child is just 6, the child is just 8, he's just 10, 11. When they become 16, we don't even think about it. We don't even want to talk about anything too serious with these children. Our problem is how to entertain them, because the only investment we make for our young children and preteens is to go to school and to be entertained. So now it's the holiday. And so what are we going to do? They have worked hard. Oh, they've done well. They even came tops in their class. And so we are going to just entertain them throughout the holiday. So it's going to be lots of movies and lots of pizza and lots of, you know how we stock the house up, right? When it's holiday, because are these things bad? No. But what we're saying is, that's not all about your young children and your preteens. There is a lot about them knowing who they are, knowing their strength, understanding and working in those strengths beginning from today. All right, so when they know their strength, when they know all of this, when our children understand their strength, they understand their values, they understand their weaknesses, they understand all of these things about them, then they are able to align. They're able to align with whatever they have to do. When they make decisions, they're able to make decisions that align with what they now know about themselves, right? As I said, in the mastermind, we help them identify their gaps, right? Because they now know themselves. Now they know what it is, what choices they need to make, right? That will help them fill in the gaps that they have, that will help them fill in the weaknesses that they have, that will help them become better at the things that they don't know how to do well, all right? So that they begin to hone that. If you don't do this, if they are not identifying with all of this, what you will find out is that the children will develop a fixed mindset where they only want to do the things that they win at. They only want to do the things that they are champions at. They only want to do the things that you will hail them for. So they don't want to try the things that they are not good at. So that's why you tell them, try this new food, I don't like it. Try this new thing, I don't like it. They have the things that they don't like, they don't want to do. And so the only way that children know how to express this, give me a second, please. Sorry about that. All right. So the moment, right? So now what happens a lot of the times is you hear, I see how parents, I see how parents, especially, young parents like us, okay, I see how we are so fixed on what it is that our children know, like, and what it is that they don't like. So you see us creating accommodation for all the things that they don't like. Like, oh, you hear parents with specificity, like specifically saying, oh, she doesn't like this, he doesn't like that. Now, these things we're saying they don't like is not necessarily because these things are wrong for them or these things are not good for them. Okay, it's not as if it's because they are allergic to these things. It's not as if it's because these things are harmful. It's just simple. The child, simply by way of the way I feel about it, the child is not interested. And so we exit completely from their lives. Now, newsflash, do you know? A lot of times, those things that the children just simply make up their mind that they don't like, simply so, is because of a fixed mindset. A lot of times when the children realize that they are not good at something, they realize that they are not, they're not winning in that particular area. They're not good at it. They don't understand it. They don't like it. They just simple emotions. I don't like it. I don't feel like it. And that's it. Based on that simple, superficial reason, a child can just decide to turn off from something. And what do we do as parents? We encourage it or we give it power by accepting, and then everywhere we go, just leave her. She doesn't like books. I just leave her. She doesn't like to read storybooks. She doesn't like to read books. Just leave her. And so that's it. We just leave a child. The child doesn't like to read. That's it. Meanwhile, the child doesn't like to read because the child has not been encouraged to. The child doesn't have to read because the child tried at some point, maybe when the child was 5 or 6, child had a challenge. Someone laughed at the child, someone scolded the child, someone made a joke, the teacher did not acknowledge it. Something small that is emotional can just be a turn off for a child. And then the child turns off from that thing. And then what do? We come and we empower something that is a challenge that the child had, that someone could have helped them walk through, because we're not present and we're not paying attention. And so this is how our children live very important part of their lives, very important skills, very important life skills, simply because emotionally they are not tuned to that thing for a particular day, a particular period or season in their life, and then we just give it energy, we give it power by freeing them or taking it off the list for them. All right, so these are the issues that we are talking about today. If we are paying attention, we are collaborating with the right people, all right, and this happens as early as possible, then we are able to identify, okay, we're able to identify together what their strengths are or what their weaknesses are. And we're able to hone the strength and we're able to work on the weaknesses, because, yes, we can raise wholesome children. We want to raise children who have options, endless options. Yes, we want to raise children who have lots and lots of options, and from those options, they can make choices. We don't want to raise children who do not have options, who have just one or two options, and so they will have to settle in one or two options just because they do not have other options. Because as parents, we were not visionary enough to point our children to as many options as possible. All right. Number two is, our children are not okay. So this one, we're talking about the decisions. So you know that being able, to identify who they are and all of that can also help them in the choices that they make when it comes to their friendships and relationships. Yes, of course. Choices, relationships, the projects that they engage in, the things that they become a part of, just simply pointing your child early to identifying themselves, who they are, what they love, what they enjoy, and all of that can be what will save your child today and for the rest of their lives, which save them as far when it comes to the choices that they make, choices of their friends. And you would see how amazingly this will also play out when they come of age and they need to pick partners, because they need to pick their partner, their spouse, because of this simple thing that you're doing for your child as early as when they are 5 and 6. It becomes the foundation that you have built for the child to make a good choice when they are 24 and 25. Dear parents, the the vision that we have today will make or break our children. The vision or the lack of it that we have today as parents will be what will save our children or what will break our children 10, 20, 30, 40, and even 60 years from now. You are a co-creator with God. You are creating the rest of the life of your child. Do not take it for granted. It is not a small feat. Now we need to go to the drawing board and begin to create concrete and tangible vision for our children so that we can build a solid foundation for them today. We know this, and this is why we started the mastermind circle. All right, we started the mastermind circle so that we can collaborate and we can partner with parents, so that beginning from when the children are 5 and 6, we are already curating, we are already putting together, we're already building visions together for these children. And we are not just doing that, we are walking the journey of executing this beginning right now. All right. So I don't know if you have children that are 5 years and 8 months and 13 years, okay, not yet 14, then you should run to the mastermind. It is a foundation grant. I say this every time. The mastermind is a different kind of mentorship program. It is foundation. So in the mastermind, we are concerned about building the foundation gradually, knowing full well that there are children who do not even know anything about these things yet. So we are calm, we are supportive, we are consistent, we are present, and we are mentoring them gradually, consistently based on each of their dynamics. All right. By the time they turn 14, we graduate them and we send them off to bigger teenage programs where now they can exert themselves. Now they can begin to channel all that they have learned into leadership and all of that bigger skills, right, that they now can apply and they can do effectively because of the foundation that we have built for them in the mastermind circle. Okay, a new cohort of the mastermind circle starts in a few weeks, just few weeks, in a number of days actually. Okay, in the first week of September we kick off a new cohort. All right, you want your child to be here. 5 years and 8 months, get them into the mastermind circle. The children need this, you need this, we need this partnership with you so that we can create lasting and big visions for these children. This is what we need, this is what they need at a time as this. All right, the next thing, self-awareness, will help your children understand their feelings and emotions, and this will help them engage better. It will help them become better equipped to deal with big issues in life. When our children are introduced to knowing who they are, knowing their strength, knowing their weaknesses, all right, the moment we do this, we already automatically introduce them to self-development. Yes, the moment you begin to help your child see, okay, this is who you are, these are our values, these are our standards, this is what is acceptable here, this is what is not acceptable. At 6, your child already knows this. At 6, your child is already having these conversations. At 6, your child is already sitting down with like minds and having conversations along these lines. Parents, it is not too big. It is not anything too serious. You should see the children in the mastermind circle. You should see them during their body meetings. During their body meetings, it is them and other kids about their age. These are small group meetings where the 7-year-olds are meeting with 6 and 7-year-olds. Sometimes the boys are meeting just with the boys, and so the conversations are relatable. But then again, they are having conversations that will be a bit of entertainment. It will talk a bit of the games that they love. It will talk a bit of bullying. It talk a bit of what happens in the playground, but it is definitely talking about other important things like their values, their studies, and all other things that ordinarily children do not think or do not talk about. And this is different from you gathering them and reading from the scriptures, or you have devotions and then you finish and then you preach to them. It's totally different. Now they are connecting with each other and they are speaking based on their authentic everyday experiences, and so they're able to see a bit of their self and a bit of their lives in other children, and they're able to see, oh, okay, my mommy says that too, my daddy asks us to do that too, oh, it's not just me, it's not just in my home, or you have that in your home too. And so they see that it is not everybody that is like their friend in their class who stays up and plays roadblocks till 1 a.m. They now know that it's not everybody that is like their 13-year-old classmate that uses an iPhone Pro, iPhone what, 16 or whatever, 15 Pro Max. They now know that it is not because their parents are wicked. That is why they do not own a phone at 13, 14, or 15. It is simply because their parents have a set of values or standards, and it's not just their parents. Oh, Ike's parents are like that too. 20 people in his group, 30 people in his group, they all are on the same page. And so when he goes back to his classroom where he has 16 other people who are different, he doesn't feel like he is different. Come on now. He came from a mentorship group where all 20 or 30 of them are not with phones and do not have phones. So a lot of times it is because of the circle that our children have. It is because of the kind of tribe that our children have built. Of course, a lot of times because of the tribes that we also have. Okay, that is why our children become, our children become obsessed with certain things that you and I know that are not productive, certain things that you and I know are more destructive than they are beneficial to these children. But if you don't keep them, or you don't have them in a tribe where they are having the same conversations and they are seeing the same thing that you are saying, then the children will not understand, because the people in their tribe are not like what you are saying. So it makes it difficult for your lessons to go home. It makes it difficult for you to drive your lessons home, because their reality does not seem like what you are saying during those family sessions, or during those devotion, family devotions. Do you understand? So it's very key that the conversations that our children are hearing, or the conversations that our children are listening to or are having, is not just during prayer or devotions. It is their everyday kind of conversations, the conversations about what is wisdom and what is foolishness. It's not just what they have during prayer time in church, in mosque, or wherever. These conversations are a part of their everyday life. In their everyday life, the conversation about making wise decisions as opposed to making foolish decisions are an everyday thing. So this is what it is when you point your children to personal, self-awareness early, and you do that with partners and collaborators like us in the mastermind circle, where these conversations are every day. Where these conversations are every day, and these conversations are not just with, grown-ups. It's a conversation that the children are also having amongst themselves. Very, very key. All right. So when we help our children become self-aware, we help our children become more emotionally in tuned, and then of course they're able to deal with deep or big emotional issues, because now they are aware of who they are. They are aware of their triggers. They are aware that other people would have different perspectives from them, and that it is okay, because we can all view things differently based on our dynamics and on our perspectives. Okay, the children in the mastermind know this so well. Okay, because I use the analogy for them every time about how you can be on one side of a tree, okay, or you can be on a building that is high, and another person is on a building that is lower. You will see that tree from a different angle. All right, the person on top will see it from a different angle. You'll be seeing the canopy of it. The person under will be seeing the fruits. The person on that other side will probably be seeing the branches in a certain way. And so you all have three different views, three different perspectives. But is any of you wrong? Perhaps not, right? So when you know this, then this is emotional intelligence. And so children like this are able to handle emotional issues, are able to handle conflicts, are able to build stronger relationships or cordial relationships with people. And this is what happens when they are in groups, when they are in tribes like the mastermind circle, where these are the kind of conversations that we are having. And this is like the kind of conversation that the children are having amongst themselves, because it is also a peer mentorship group. Very key. Number three, it will help your children build a good self-esteem and confidence. See, our confidence comes from what we know. Your confidence comes from what it is that you know and what it is that you are able to voice. So it is one thing to know, it is another thing to use your voice to exert, or whatever, to exert what it is that you know. So when children are introduced to self-awareness, and they're introduced to personal development, and they grow in communities where they are given the platform and they are given the opportunity for expression, what happens is they learn how to, first of all, build their convictions. So that's what we do. That's what you do as a parent, or you should do as a parent. Sorry, 1 second, please. All right. So when you understand your assignment as a parent, then you understand the place of your convictions. So you are constantly building your convictions, and passing down your convictions to your children. It is very key. I listened to Apostle Salman preach about this one time and I caught it. The best gift that you can give to your child as a parent is the gift of your convictions. What are you convinced about? What are the things that you can stand for no matter what it is? This is my belief system around this. Okay. And this is why, and that is why. Pass your convictions to your children. Let your children see what you think about marriage. Let them see what you think about sex. Let them know what you think about education. Let them know what you think about politics. Let them know your convictions on different issues. Now, when your children have these convictions, guess what? Now, when you come, it depends on your values. Now, as a tribe in the mastermind circle, we have our convictions. And these convictions, a lot of times, you would know as a parent and you would know if it aligns with your convictions. So that is what it now means, is that if it aligns with your convictions, then it means that you are passing down your convictions. We are reaffirming your convictions. And so the convictions are becoming stronger in your child. And you know something, your child is beginning to trust and buy into these convictions. It is these convictions that your children will hold. And then the next thing is, because we are a platform that gives them a voice, we tell them how they are the light of the world and how the world will be covered in darkness until they decide to make the little speckles that they are in the sky, like the speckles of the stars, begin to shine. When you shine, then the world becomes bright because you are a light and you become a light to the world. Now, in shining, your shining has to do with your voice. What are you saying? What are your convictions? How strongly do you believe in those convictions? How do you know how to comport yourself, how to be assertive, how to be bold, and share those convictions respectfully and, of course, with decorum? This is what the children are learning. The moment they know how to be firm in their convictions, then it's not easy for them to be swayed around by pop culture and all of the narratives and convictions that their friends pick on the streets, that people pick because a group of people, a group of whatever celebrities or whatever they are, come up with certain convictions that you know are dysfunctional. But because your children are rooted and they understand who they are, they are able to stand no matter what with their own convictions. And that's it. Now, that is what gives you confidence. That's what makes you bold to stand even in the face of pressure, even in the face of, people being different. You're able to stand and hold on to those convictions. That is confidence. That is boldness. All right. So sometimes we think that the bold one is the person who is loud, the person who knows how to run their mouth, the person who knows how to talk anyhow. That's not boldness. A lot of the times it's actually low self-esteem. Sometimes it's so self-esteem that is hidden in that, because the person does not feel seen. The person does not feel heard. A lot of times they just want to talk anyhow because they feel the more I talk or the louder I am, the more people will see me, because of course I don't feel enough until people see me. But that's not what we're teaching. We're teaching children to take their convictions, believe in them, and then use their voice to pass down that conviction so that they can become impact makers. They can become the changers of narratives, and they can become the changers of policies. And of course, they can impact the world. Now, when you are doing this, then you are you are raising a giant. You're raising someone who is confident, someone who is bold, and that's coming from a good self-esteem. So when you help your children identify, or you help them know who they are, when they become self-aware, when you place them in communities like the mastermind circle, where we give them the platform to express this and to build on this consistently, then the children become, because they are aware of themselves, then they become impact makers in the world. These are the kind of foundation you want to start laying for your 6-year-old, for your 5-year and 8-year month, for your young children and your preteens. Very key. All right. The next one is clarity in setting their personal goals. When our children are made to be aware of who they are, now they know who they are. Now they understand their strength. Now they understand their weaknesses. Now they understand the things that come easy for them. Now they can see and they can tell, that they are natural leaders. They can see and they can tell that, oh, they know how to stand for the truth no matter what. All right. They can see and they can tell, right, that they do not and they cannot stand it when people are being marginalized. All right. So in my new book, all right. So my new book is out, later in the week, right? Like it's out later in the week. So I've written two amazing books, right? Destined for Greatness and Wisdom Stories for Champions. All right, these two books are for young children. It's for your child between age 7 and 13. But guess what? Even your teenagers can read these books because they are so amazing. All right, so Nelson Mandela was one of the African icons that, was tied to one of our stories in the books. All right. So if you've been reading my books, you know how I write. I write real life situations. And then, of course, I help children see models. Okay. I point children to models that can inspire them to be more in whatever it is that they have an interest or that they love. All right. So in Destined for Greatness, we are shining the spotlight on African icons who have changed the trajectory for the continent and have written their names in the sands of time globally. All right. So in that story, Nelson Mandela actually lost his father early and was raised by another chief of a village who was a great leader. And it is said that Nelson learned his leadership skills and his ability to stand up for himself while he was under the tutelage of this great chief as it is. And so what happened when the opportunity came for him in life, right, to actually stand up for against marginalization, to stand up against, whatever it was at the time, apathy and all of that. He stood up. He was ready to go down for it. He was ready to go. As far as he had breath in his nostrils, he was ready to stand up for what it is that was right because he knew who he was. He knew his convictions, okay, and he had something that he was standing for. Now, if he wasn't bold, if he wasn't confident, he would be doing that. All right. And so he was able to set a personal goal, right, because of the fact that he's aware of who he is and knows what it is that he stands for. And so he was able to do that. All right. We also shone the spotlight on Gabriel Selassie. All right. And it is said that when Gabriel was a little boy, he would run to school and run back. He's that fast. He would run to school and run back. Like while other children were gisting and talking on the way, Gabriel would go and, and all of that. It was said that when he was about 7 years old, he actually stole his father's radio and went to the fields just so that he could listen to the Olympics, right? Because he had a model that he was looking up to that time. And in the 1980 Olympic, this person was running the marathon. And so he had, he knew who he was, right? So even at the time that his parents were not encouraging, they didn't understand why you want to, what you could build out of just running, right? Or just be someone who wants to go for sports and all of that. They didn't understand, but he knew who he was. He knew what he had. He knew what it is that was his thing. And so even without the encouragement of his parents, he was able to get his personal motivation. And that's it. When the motivation become intrinsic, passion will evolve, or passion will actually, it will spark passion. All right. So passion will come. All right. And that's it. That's what it takes, right, to become that person that you want to be. So this is it. But the earlier we point our children to this, all right, the earlier we point our children to this. Now, somebody, you could ask, okay, these people who pointed them to this, right? Who pointed them to this at the time and all of that? Dear parents, look closely. You will see that the dynamics that we have in today's world is so different from the dynamics that we had growing up, or the dynamics even before we came up. Now look at the ratio, go back, even with the less distractions that we had at the time, even with all that less distraction, all the time we had in our hand to dream big dreams, and all of that. Even with that, what is the ratio of those who found themselves and became and pursued something powerful, right, compared to the number of people who didn't bother to dream big dreams? Now, that was a time where the distractions were limited. Now, into this world, our children are highly distracted. Oh my goodness. The distractions are way too many. It takes the grace of God for any child to want to be anything different from just being an influencer today. When they feel them, when they see them. Are your children talking? You will see children who are highly intelligent. Ask them. They just want to be influencers. Now, is there anything wrong with being an influencer? There is nothing. But go deep down and have a conversation with your child so that you can see what it is that is driving the need to be an influencer, the need to be a reality star, the need to be a Hollywood star, to be a Nollywood star. Go. I'm not limiting, I'm not saying these are the wrong things. There are many other things, right? Go and sit down and have conversations with the children so that you can know the why behind it. I promise you, 95% of the time, the why behind wanting to influence is just so that they can have as much money as they see the people who are influencers or who are called influencers have. So it is not because you want to impact the world. It is not because you want to change the narrative. It is not because you want to build you want to build on a dream of, being a savior. It's not. It's simply driven by the need to make money. We don't even make it easy because we don't even make it easy as parents, because even for the average parents, your convictions a lot of times are driven by the amount of money. If only we can bring ourselves to the point to understand that there are bigger things that can ensure that that money never goes dry. There are bigger things that we can, convictions that we can pass down to our children that will make them wealthy in a way that even after they are no more, the wealth would build generation and generations, of wealth, not just in money. When I'm talking wealth, I'm not just talking naira and cover. All right, deep issues. But then again, if your children are not hearing the right thing, if your children are not connected to the right source, then they will be building visions that are superficial, that is driven by things that are not important. This is what our concern is. I've talked a lot about the mastermind circle, and I said we start a new cohort in the first week of September. If you would like your child to be a part of the next cohort that begins in September, we have the information on your screen right now. Why don't you go ahead and screen grab the information and then reach out to us? You can actually send us a message on 081 306 21566. At the end of the post, you can also look in the comments or in the description on YouTube, and you will see frequently asked questions about the Mastermind Circle. And from there, you can get your child on board. So the Mastermind Circle is that circle where we pay attention, close attention. Our accountability is very close because we understand the group of children that we are working with. So our accountability is not very fast. So that's why we don't do so many people. All right, we don't have so many people yet. And of course, the goal is not to have so many people like that. The goal is to have a number that we can continue to keep accountability right. All right, so it means that when we get to a certain number during the year, for the junior partners and the senior partners, we shut down. so that we can give them the maximum attention that they need. So if you want your child to be a part of the mastermind, it goes from September to the end of August of the next year. So we're ending a new cohort at the end of this month, all right? And that will be a whole 12 months working with your child. Guess what? The mastermind is one of the most affordable programs that you can get because it is less than 6,000 naira per month. Yes, it's less than 6,000 naira per month. Okay, and so what happens is you get to pay just 70,000 naira for the entire year. Yes, it's not even the amount you pay lesson teacher for 2 months, right? It's not what you pay one lesson teacher, the lesson teacher that teaches math, right? Or whatever. It's not more than what you pay your lesson teacher for 2 months. But that's what we are going to have working with your children for your child for an entire year, every day. And I mean every day. Like we connect with the children every day, not weekly, not monthly, every day. All right, because we understand the dynamics and the group of children that we are working with. All right, so I think you should grab this opportunity. All right, when we start the cohort, as soon as we get a number, we short for the year, and that will be about it. So go ahead and use the information. All right. And then if you also like to get our book, we will have that. All right. So the books are amazing, beautiful resources for your children. No child should hear of this book or see this book and not read it. Okay. It's a beautiful book. Our illustrations are always beautiful. And of course, the content is life. All right. So you want to get a copy of the book. So you can just reach out in the comments and say pre-order, and we'll share the link with you. Okay, we'll probably still share the link on the bar before we go off. Finally, it will help your child create a foundation for lifelong learning. All right, when you point your children to self-awareness as early as possible, you help your child begin to build, the foundation for personal development, and you get your child in a community where this is priority. What you see is you find a child who becomes hungry for learning. You find a child who is open to learning new things. You find a child who is learning not just to pass exams. You find a child who is learning because the child enjoys and is interested in learning. All right, so the children in the mastermind. So we are big on excellence in the mastermind. So we want to raise children. We want them to do everything that they do in an excellent way. We want them to give everything, every energy to everything that they do. So you guys, guess what happens? Because we preach excellence throughout the year, excellence in 9 different areas. There are academics, personal development, spiritual life, home management, self-management, financial skills, leadership skills, reading for leisure, and all of that, habits training. We focus on all of these areas. Our monthly theme is to cover all of these areas: emotional intelligence, social intelligence, and all of that, cultural intelligence. So we put all of these, okay, and we help them build executive functioning skills. Now, because all of this happens, what we get at the end in July and August is children who ace academically. Yes, it is a theme in the mastermind. We raise children who dust their exams without us sitting down and focusing. Schoolwork. We don't. That's what I said. What do you call it? Excellence is a thing for us. All right. So we don't hound them about, oh, your schoolwork. What did you do? Did you? No, we make them understand that every aspect of their life is very important. And because we make the things that are major, all the other things that are minor become fruits, basically. So even their academics enjoy the fruits of the major thing, that is self-discipline, self-awareness, excellence, and all of that. And this is how we're able to raise and we're able to churn out and graduate children when they turn 14. We graduate them and send them to bigger programs, all right, because we have built a solid foundation with them for an entire 13 months. So thank you very much for being a part of this session today. I am sure you got value. If you did get value, if you're catching the replay, let us know in the comment section that you got value from this session. If you would like to be a part of the mastermind circle, just screen grab the information and, of course, reach out to us, all right, to be a part of it. Come, no matter what it is. Come, let's have a conversation, okay, about the mastermind circle, and we can get your lovely ones into the circle. We can't wait to have them in the circle. If you would like to get our new books, you have the information right there on the screen right now. Pre-order for our new book is on right now. So you can get your pre-order code 6999 for two of the books. After now, it's going to be 9,000 naira. And if you get it at pre-order cost, then you get three amazing resources. One of them is going to be a masterclass for your child in the first week of September, where your preteen will join us in a masterclass where we will be teaching them how to excel in the school year. All right. So it's a back to school masterclass for young children, for preteens. All right, we want to help them start with, a big, start basically in the school year. Just by buying this book, they get access to that class. They also get access to a guide on how to study independently. Yes, they get that also. Okay, and then there's a third guide that you also get as a parent. Okay, we want to help you support your children maximally. Okay, and we want the children to become self-aware so that they can take the front stage in their own lives. Thank you for joining me for today's session. I do not take it for granted that you allow me be a part of your parenting journey. Okay, this is what makes me this is exciting, right? Doing parenting with you and being with you on this journey. All right, so thank you very much. I can't wait to receive your little one in the mastermind circle. I can't wait to mentor them with you, and I can't wait to introduce them to their peer mentors, and then of course to introduce them to their buddies, because we know that the support system that we need, that our children need, are in categories. They need you, the parents, as their mentors. They need other mentors who partner and collaborate with you. They need peer mentors that they can look up to, all the kids that they can look up to as peer mentors. They need their friends, okay, their peers as their mentors that they can look at and be inspired and motivated. And we offer all of this in the mastermind circle. Thank you very much again, and I'll see you in next week. You can join us next week for this program again, or you can join us for our daily How Can I Support My Child series. It happens for about 20 to 30 minutes every morning from 8:30 to 9 o'clock maximum. Thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of the day and a blessed week. My name is Maribeth Shima, and yes, you can call me the mentor mom and the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. Have a fantastic day. Bye. Thank you for returning, Ngozi.